Okay, thank you. All right, this is the 2 p.m. initial appearance calendar for November 7th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 2 a.m. calendar on the first of the month will also apply to these hearings. All right. We're going to start with Ms. Tucker, Lindsay Tucker. If you'll please come all the way to the podium. You'll be first, Lindsay Tucker. Thank you. After that, I need Christopher Green to go sit in the chair there by the door. You'll be after Ms. Tucker. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Lindsay Ann Tucker, February 16th, 1983.
All right, thanks. You're here on a new case. You got booked in for possessing dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. There is probable cause for both of those crimes, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is going to be a status conference on November 14th, which is 1 week from today, Friday, November 14th, 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing on November 17th, which is the following Monday at 8:30 in the morning. And you are out on release in a pending felony case. You've been in suspended prosecution, which a lot of people still call the TASK program, I think. That is CR 2025-122446. Your initial appearance in that case was June 2nd of this year, and the law says, there's case law that says that counts as an open and pending felony case. So you are going to have a bail hearing in this new case because you are not eligible for bail today because you've come in with probable cause for new felonies while you have any open and pending felony case. So I'm setting your bail hearing for the afternoon of Friday, November 14th, 1 week from today, 1:30 p.m. So in the morning on the 14th, you go to your status conference. Your lawyer will tell you what's going to happen at your bail hearing in the afternoon. You do not get bail between now and then. The law says I cannot give you bail. On your paperwork, that bail hearing is going to be listed as an evidentiary hearing because it is one, but the subject of it is bail. So when you're wondering, when's my bail hearing, it's the one called evidentiary hearing, okay? You should end up with the same lawyer for, well, depends on the status of your other case. So you'll have a lawyer when you get there. You can talk to them in a week, all right? If you step to your left, I'll give you that paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Green? Then Irena Antone, will you please go to the chair? Hi, sir, can I have your full name and date of birth?
Christopher Green, August 8th, 1979.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a newly charged case. The charges are 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs committed on one occasion, and that is July 16th of 2025. So this has now been formally filed against you, and it comes out of the, give me a second, Tempe Police Department. But if that doesn't ring any bells, you'll get a copy of the charges and police reports from your lawyer. I am appointing a lawyer for you. You need to go to court for a status conference 1 week from today, which is Friday, November 14th at 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30 in the morning. Now, on the day that these are alleged to have been committed, which was July 16th of this year, you had an open and pending felony case. After that, you did go on probation in that case back on September 30th. But on July 16th, when this is alleged to have occurred, you had an open and pending felony, which triggers the same law I just told the prior defendant about, which is that I cannot give you bail today. I must set a bail hearing in a week. And I think I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, we got to reprint. We need a bail hearing for this gentleman. My fault. Okay. Or did I check violation of probation? That's probably why we didn't do it. Okay, because I cheesed it up. You were on release. I just checked the wrong box. Okay. Alrighty, my fault. Okay. So, just like the prior defendant, you're going to have a status conference 1 week from today, which is November 14th. In the afternoon, which is November 14th at 1:30 p.m., you'll have that bail hearing, which on your paperwork will be called an evidentiary hearing. Then on Monday, November 17th, at 8:30, you'll have your preliminary hearing. So you see your lawyer a week from today in the morning. They'll tell you what's going to happen at the bail hearing in the afternoon. I don't remember, you're doing an initial jail sentence, right? I don't know when's your release date? Do you know?
27th of November.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to go next week. So talk to your lawyer about all that, about whether or how that's going to affect your actual release. on the 27th of November, but you just go next week and talk to your lawyer about all of that.
So there's a chance I might not get out on the.
There is a chance, yes, and it's very case specific. It's going to basically be up to the judge in your case. So talk to your lawyer about that. That is if you ever get bail in this case. So right now you're not eligible for bail. So talk to your lawyer about that. The state has to show that they have a good solid weight of evidence. That's the purpose of the evidentiary hearing. It's to see if the state's evidence is strong enough in this new ag DUI from July, if they have enough evidence to keep you no bond. If the court finds that they don't, then the court will determine release conditions. That's why it's an evidentiary hearing, because it's to test the strength of the state's evidence.
Okay.
So talk to your lawyer about all of this. There are a lot of moving parts and practicalities, and it's good, you know, but the public defenders and the prosecutors, they cut deals in these, they do all kinds of things. So I don't know what's going to happen. That's why you have a lawyer to help you get the best outcome that you can. But at least the good news is, that is going to hopefully, you'll get an answer to that question next week, long before the 27th rolls around. You should know, am I getting out on the 27th? Or if not, what's my situation?
Okay.
All right, so just take your paperwork, and when that was done, there you go, and you step out your left. Thank you. All right, Ms. Antone? And then Timothy Watson, will you go to the chair, please? Hi, ma'am, can I have your full name and your date of birth?
Irina Kim Antone, July 29th, 1980.
Okay, thanks. You're here on two things. One is a new arrest, and one is it's a probation warrant. It's a failure to appear on a probation violation. Okay, so in the new case, you were booked in for dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and taking contraband into a correctional facility, which is a Class 2 felony. There is probable cause for those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you in this case. I'm also appointing a lawyer in your probation case because there was already a petition to revoke pending for you when you failed to appear on May 19th, 2025 in probation court, and there was a warrant issued for your arrest. So your next court date is going to be the same for the probation case as it is for the new case. It's November 14th, 1 week from today at 8:30 in the morning. In the new case, it's a status conference. In the probation case, it's called a revocation arraignment. Then in the new case only, you need a preliminary hearing, and we're scheduling that for Monday, November 17th at 8:30 in the morning. In the probation case, I am affirming the bond set by the judge who issued that warrant, and that is $900 cash only. In the new case, I'm setting what we call a placeholder bond. It's $50. I'm going to do it as cash only just to keep it as one type of bail. So it's $50, and it just means that in the absence of your probation matter, I probably would have released you. So, but you need a little bond in place so you're eligible for credit for time in custody in the new case, and so that they will take you to court. So it's $950 total. It is cash only. If you bond out, comply with all of your written conditions, and call your probation officer within 72 hours. If you step to your left, they have your paperwork. Thank you. All right, Mr. Watson? And then Lorenzo Duran, will you please go to the chair? All right. Mr. Watson, can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
J.J. David Watson, 1699.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a probation warrant. You're on felony probation, and on August 4th of this year, there was a petition to revoke your probation filed. It alleges that you violated terms 3 and 5. You'll get a copy
and
of
I'd
it.
like to ask him about that.
Okay, well, I'm not done yet. So you'll get a copy of the petition from your lawyer, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your court date will be 1 week from today, which is Friday, November 14th at 8:30 in the morning. It's a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing, and I am affirming the $500 bond set for you by the probation court. Now, what did you want to say?
That I was trying to get a new identification and everything, and so my address changed, and I haven't been able to get a hold of my probation officer to allow her to know that my address changed, and I haven't been able to get in contact with her. I've talked to previous officers.
You'll have a chance to do that next week.
No, I've talked to previous officers before the warrant was issued out for my arrest and everything, and I had to tell them to notate that I was trying to get in contact with her, that I wasn't able to get in contact with her. I have text messages, phone calls, and I've reached out to her multiple times, and I've not been able to get a hold of my probation officer.
Okay, well, I don't find that credible, sir, but you can try that with the probation judge and see if they do. This is your third petition to revoke, and you never once reported after you got released on June 7th. So I don't find that at all credible. If you can prove that, you can prove it to the probation judge. All right, if you step to your left, you get a copy of your paperwork.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Duran? After that, it'll be Joshua Johnston, please. Hi, sir, can I have your full name and date of birth?
Lorenzo Antonio Duran, born February 15, 2002.
Okay, thanks. You're hearing a probation warrant in your Class 4 felony probation case. In your case, there was a petition to revoke filed on November 6th. So it actually got filed yesterday, and it alleges that you violated terms 3 and 4. You'll get a copy from your lawyer. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing this Friday, November 14th at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown probation court. That will be a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing. Court address will be on your paperwork. Your bond is $250 secured. You have written release conditions that I'll let you read for yourself. What did you want to say?
Also got court on the 10th. Is there a way I can run both of those together?
I don't know what the court date is on the 10th. Is that a new case?
Yeah, it's the reason why I violated.
I'm unable to, no, sorry, not at this point in time. Eventually, if they're both in Superior Court, they should come together for matching court dates, but I'm not able to do that now because that case is not in front of me. All right, if you step to your left, you get a copy of that paperwork. Thanks. All right, Mr. Johnson? And then I think we're done, right, because the rest of them, it's house call.
One house call, one LAP.
Okay, thanks. Hi, sir, can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
07/06/1998.
Are you Joshua Johnston?
Joshua Johnston.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a new case. You got arrested for possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court dates will be in 2 weeks. That's Friday, November 21st at 8:30 in the morning for a status conference and a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. Those will be in the downtown Superior Court, and the address will be on your paperwork. You are going to be released with no conditions because I did not find probable cause in your case. The police did not provide any support, they have to provide a minimum amount of evidentiary support for the allegation that what you had was a narcotic drug. And they just didn't do it. And we do see this sometimes. They just, frankly, don't do a very good job.
Yeah.
So there's no probable cause, but the case is not dismissed. That's why I gave you the lawyer and the court dates first, because the allegation's still pending against you. What you get when this happens is you get released with no conditions, which I would have released you anyway based on doesn't look like you have any felony priors. I would have released you anyway, but I would have given you some release conditions. But I don't have the power to give you any release conditions because I didn't find probable cause. So you get released. You got your court dates. If you're not there, there's going to be a warrant issued for your arrest. On your paperwork, I put a phone number. I recommend you call it about 3 days before that first hearing and say, do I still have a court hearing? Because sometimes in cases like yours,
they get dropped.
They wait for the lab results. So they'll drop it now, but not forever. They'll send it for lab results, and they tell the police agency, send it back for charging if you get positive lab results. That happens somewhat frequently, but it's up to the state, because the police may have done a field test. They just didn't tell me. And so you can't bet that they're going to be dropped. I don't know percentage-wise what the odds are. I have no idea. All I can tell you is if the case does go forward and they file the charge and you're not there on the 21st, you're going to catch a warrant. So call.
The 21st
of November, which is 2 weeks from today. Today's Friday the 7th, so Friday the 21st. So call the 18th or 19th. Call and just give them your name and your case number and say, do I still have a court date on the 21st? If you don't, it means they dropped it for now. Right. They might be waiting for lab results. If you do, then you know to go. And you don't want to catch a warrant because in a case like this, with no priors, I don't think you have any drug priors, even misdemeanor. No, this is probably a Prop 200 case, which means it's probation mandatory, like even if you go to trial and lose. And in which case, they're probably going to make you a diversion offer, which means you do some drug education stuff and you never take a conviction. So I just try to tell people in your situation, don't dodge court, because especially if I'm right about your criminal history, and your lawyer will go over all of that with you, This is one where you literally can't go to prison unless you screw up so endlessly that they kick you out of the statutory scheme. And I'm just saying, don't be afraid to go to court.
Right.
Be afraid not to, because then you catch a warrant and you end up arrested again.
Yeah.
So anyway, just try to keep track of those court dates. But you are going to be released today. It's still very slow. Try to be patient, but you should be out, we hope, dinner time-ish. And then just, call a few days.
What time is it right now? Like
It's 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, all right. Good luck, sir. If you step to left, they give you paperwork.
All right, fellas.
Okay, so officer, I've got Demetrius Morton as a house call. Has he been isolated from general population by the sheriff's office as a potential risk of danger to himself or others?
Yes, ma'am. He is showing unpredictable in his behavior.
Okay, thank you. I do have an affirmative answer from the sheriff's office. So we'll go see Mr. Morton in-house, back in the cell block, to conduct his initial appearance in person immediately after this recording. I'll advise Mr. Morton that he's before the court on a probation violation warrant because there was a petition to revoke his probation filed just a month ago, October 10th, and it alleges that he violated terms 3 and 5. I will let him know that I'm appointing a lawyer for him, setting him a court date of November 14th at 8:30 in the morning, which is next Friday, for a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing. And I'll show him that the address is on his paperwork. That's the downtown probation court. And I'm saying on in his case at $500 secured with written conditions. I will go over with him. All right, so then we just have our interpreter matter left, and we're trying to see if we can get somebody to log in, and then we'll be able to do that.
I had to dial in, which line? Because there's still, oh, there he is, somebody's logging in, can we use that one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, get him in here, will you? Oh, okay, I see, right, because you gotta, we've got to do the headphones? Okay, should we give them to the officer now, or you need to check the volume? The headphones?
Usually I check the volume.
Okay. Un momento, señor.
Sí. Sí.
Is the defendant getting the headphones?
We were trying, although if it ends up being too much of a pain, we could do consecutive, but, if we can do the headphones, that'd be cool. Okay.
What's the number that I should be calling, Your Honor?
It's 602-372.
9456.
9456.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Crank calls, but.
There's no way here to answer anybody. Right.
Here we go.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
No, you gotta mute the.
Yes, can you please mute? Thank you.
Right, you gotta mute yourself too. Okay, there we go.
Can you hear?
There we go. Yeah, no, she's muted now. Okay. Okay, give her a second. He's got them on, if you can check with him.
¿Me escucha?
Sí, ya.
We're all set, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, sir, may I please have your full name and date of birth?
Miento.
José Luis Roldán Juárez, 21 de junio de 1977.
José Luis Roldán Juárez, June 21st, 1977. Maria Court, County Interpreter's Office.
Thank you. Sir, you are before the court on an arrest warrant for an older case. In this case, you have been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs while impaired to the slightest degree, driving under the influence with a blood alcohol of 0.08 or more, and extreme driving under the influence with blood alcohol of 0.15 to 0.20. This warrant was issued May 11th of 2021 after you failed to appear at a court hearing in the East Mesa Justice Court. Court records indicate you already have a lawyer in this case, so I'm not appointing one today.
¿O no? Porque me habían dicho que iban a poner uno.
Oh, no, because I was told that I would get one.
I'm going to look again at the court record because it stated that there was a lawyer there for you. What I will do, because it is an older case, we need to reprint, is I will click the appointment box again. I'm just going to put a note in here, just noting that you stated you didn't think that you did have one. Okay. All right, then I will make that note so that your file will go to the public defender's office and they can make sure they know they need to have a lawyer for you there.
Okay.
All right, your next hearing will be November 13th at 8:30 in the morning in the East Mesa Justice Court. That is this coming Thursday.
Okay.
And the court address is on your paperwork. And this court is affirming the bond set by the judge who issued the warrant, which is $1,000 secured. Secured means you can use a bail bond company. You can talk to the officers after court about how to call one if you want to do that. You have written conditions.
Okay.
You are ordered to comply with. Those include absolutely no alcohol, no driving without a valid driver's license, no drugs without a valid prescription, no contact with the arresting officers. And if there was any collision in your case, no contact with anybody whose property may have been damaged.
Okay.
That's who is meant by the word victim in your orders. It would be anybody whose property you may have damaged in a collision. If there was no collision, then that does not apply to you.
No hubo nada.
Right, there wasn't.
Okay. Everything I just told you is on your paperwork. If you'll step to your left, they have a copy for you, and you can hand them the headphones. Thank you.
Oigan, bueno, una pregunta. ¿Puedo
Okay,
preguntarle?
question? May I?
El expediente, bueno, el que me dijo, dice que fue primero de alcohol y drogas.
The file, did you say that it was for alcohol and drugs?
El anterior, el 21, ¿o no?
From 2021 or what?
Right. There's one type of charge that you are accused of that covers both things. But I think it's clear from the other two charges against you that in your case, it is alcohol being alleged. But I gave you the broader title of that offense because there's one that covers both.
Bueno, porque yo no me drogo, no fumo nada de droga.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I don't use drugs.
Understood. And your lawyer can go over with you exactly what you're charged with and the police reports that will show what evidence they say they have. But from the looks of it, it's an alcohol case.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to the interpreter. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, I already did my house call record, so anybody looking for that should look back 5 to 8 minutes on this recording. And with that, we're going to stand in recess until 5 p.m. this afternoon.
All right.
Thank you. Be seated.
Okay, it is November 7th, 2025. We are getting ready to proceed with the 5 p.m. initial appearance calendar. Before we begin, I am going to read an advisement, the victim rights advisement. If you are the victim of a crime with a case pending before this court, you are advised that you have rights under Arizona law that, among others, include the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, to a speedy trial, to be present at court proceedings, to choose whether or not to be interviewed by the defendant or the defendant's attorney, to be heard before the court makes a decision on release, negotiation of a plea, scheduling and sentencing, and to receive restitution from a person who is convicted of causing you loss. If you have not already been provided with a written statement of all victim rights, please contact the Victim Services Division of the Prosecutor's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call each of you into court individually, so please listen for your name. May I please have Megan Dother?
Your Honor.
May I have your name and date of birth?
Megan Riley Dozer and 6/22/94.
Thank you. Ms. Dozer, I have you here on 2 matters. The first matter is a probation violation warrant on a case involving a conviction for possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, out of Yavapai County. This court is appointing you an attorney. That attorney will be assigned at a later date through Yavapai.
Okay.
Your next hearing is an arraignment hearing on November 13th at 8:30 a.m. That date and time will be listed on your release paperwork.
Okay.
You are eligible for release in this case. When Yavapai County issued the warrant, the judge requested a $25,000 bond. For purposes of today, this court is affirming that bond. So that is a secured appearance bond. In addition to that, if you are able to post that bond, other release conditions will apply, and those will be specifically listed on your paperwork.
So there's no way I can be released today? I'm 8.5 months pregnant. I can't. I don't have $25,000.
Your hearing is in less than a week in Yavapai County. You can address that with your attorney. For today's purposes, this court is affirming the bond requested by Yavapai.
I just got out of rehab though. Like I'm trying. I'm doing everything they asked me to do. I went to rehab. I completed it, and now they want to send another warrant out for me. I don't understand.
I understand. This court has to assume that the judge in Yavapai County knows more about the circumstances of the underlying case, and the probation, your probation situation. That's why I am affirming their bond. But again, your hearing is in less than a week. Your second matter is a failure to appear warrant. On a driving on a suspended license, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor case that is also out of Pinal County. In that case, the court is appointing you an attorney, which will be appointed or assigned at a later date in Pinal County. Ordinarily, you would not be entitled to an attorney given the nature of these charges, but the court is imposing a $250 secured appearance bond for this second matter. So for purposes of the bond issue only, the court is appointing that attorney. Your next hearing is an arraignment hearing, and that is on November 13th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay. Same time as the other one?
Let me just double check. It is. Okay, thank you. Let me get your paperwork. May I have Ashley Adams Smith?
I'm sorry, I thought this was supposed to the right.
And then my CSC.
Okay.
From the local left.
Yes.
Good evening, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Adams Smith, may I have your name and date of birth first?
Ashley Adams, 11088.
Okay, and counsel?
Jessica Hernandez on behalf of Ashley Adams.
Okay. So I do see that you have filed your notice of appearance, and that's for the initial appearance only today.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand these are out-of-county warrants. I'll file a notice with the appropriate counties.
Okay, great. All right, so, I'm sorry, did you say that you go by Ms. Adams or Ms. Smith?
It's just supposed to be Adams.
Okay. All right, Ms. Adams, I have you here on two separate matters, all right? So the first matter is a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued out of Graham County. That's on your case, which involves the following charges. One charge of aggravated assault, a Class 2 felony, 2 counts of aggravated DUI, which I believe are both Class 4 felonies, 1 count of endangerment as a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of failure to appear. And counsel, you said that you do plan on filing a notice of appearance for the remainder of the case. Okay. So I'm going to edit the release order. Okay, so I reviewed the warrant abstract from Graham County. In your warrant, Graham County is requesting a bond in the amount of $25,000. For purposes of today, this court is inclined to affirm that bond amount, and that will be a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. Counsel, did you want to be heard on that?
No, Your Honor. We'll abide by that ruling. It is a secured appearance bond.
It is, yes. So secured appearance bond, ma'am, if you do post that bond and you are released from custody, you are not to have any contact with the arresting officers, no possession or consumption of any alcohol, no driving without a valid license. Keep the court updated with your local address. You do have an arraignment hearing on November 13th at 8:30 a.m., and that will be on your paperwork. In your second matter, I have you here on an arrest warrant on a case involving 1 charge of DUI as a Class 1 misdemeanor. That has a date of offense of August 22nd, 2018, and that is out of Graham County. I'm also going to just edit this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Just give me one moment. so I just updated both of those to reflect private counsel. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so let me just start over. So it's an arrest warrant on a DUI with a date of offense, alleged offense, on August 22nd, 2018, out of Graham County. You're eligible for release in this matter as well. Release conditions in this matter include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000, no drugs, no alcohol, no driving without a valid license. You have an arraignment hearing scheduled for November 13th at 8:30 a.m. And counsel, is there any matters that you'd like to be heard on with respect to this second?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that is it. So you all can get the paperwork from the officers right behind you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. I'm happy you stepped through that door, take a seat on the left hand side, okay? I'll escort you out.
There should be updated copies to reflect the.
Can you get a copy, please? Yeah.
Okay, it should be.
I'll take that copy.
It should be updated now. Okay, great. Do you want me to pause for a second? Okay. David Lopez? Hello, may I have your name and your date of birth, please?
David Lopez, March 29, 2000.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, I have you here on two separate matters. The first matter is a failure to appear bench warrant on a case out of Maricopa County involving one charge of endangerment as a Class 6 felony. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you in this matter. You are eligible for release. Your release conditions include the following: a secured appearance and bond in the amount of $5,000. If you post that bond and are released from custody, you are to have no contact with any complainants, witnesses, arresting officers, and you are not to drive a motor vehicle without a valid license. In your second matter, you are here on another failure to appear bench warrant out of Maricopa County. That is on the case involving one count of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, also that's a Class 6 felony. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a status conference in that matter on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release, and your release conditions include the following. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. If you post that bond, there are a series of other release conditions that will apply.
Okay.
So your paperwork is going to detail the bond amounts and release conditions for each of the cases, as well as the next court dates for each of the cases. Okay? All right. Step to your left. Yes.
Also, I was also going to ask if it's possible to switch up my release conditions. It's my little girl's birthday this month, and I want to, be there for her birthday. I'll go through substance treatment. I'll go through ankle monitor if I have to, just whatever I have to do. I promise I'll be there for my court dates. I want to do everything the right way. And I missed out a lot of time being out on the streets, and I just want to make up for that. I want to know if you guys could give me just, another chance.
I'm certainly not unsympathetic to that, sir. This court, in giving release conditions, I have to gauge, how likely you are to appear at future hearings, along with protecting the safety of the public. And you have two prior, your matters today both involve a failure to appear, okay? Which leads the court to believe that you need to have a bond amount. So for today, the bond amount stands.
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mercedes Cifuentes. All right. May I have your name and your date of birth?
Mercedes Cifuentes, 09/30/2000.
Thank you. Ms. Cifuentes, I have you here on one matter. It is a grand jury arrest warrant on a case where you have been indicted on several charges, including illegally conducting an enterprise, a Class 3 felony, 1 count of conspiracy, a Class 3 felony, and 3 counts of misconduct involving weapons, all Class 3 felonies. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you in this matter, and you have an arraignment hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in this matter, and the following release conditions will apply. The court is imposing a cash bond in the amount of $10,000. If you do post that bond, you will have a series of other release conditions that you must abide by, including not returning to any scene of any crime, not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, complainants, co-defendants, or officers, not possessing any weapons, any drugs, and not driving without a valid driver's license. And all of that is in your paperwork. You may step to your left and get that paperwork from the officer. Ashley McDaniel. May I please have your name and your date of birth?
Ashley McDaniel, 9/22/86.
Okay. Ms. McDaniel, I have you here on two matters. The first matter involves several allegations of new offenses. Those include 1 count of aggravated DUI, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of DUI, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of reckless driving, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of driving with a suspended license, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of use of an electronic communication device in the commission of a drug transaction, a Class 4 felony. The court has found probable cause as to all of those offenses except for the reckless driving allegation. The court did not find probable cause as to that. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you in this matter. And you have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m., as well as a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. In this first case, you are eligible for release. Your release terms include the following: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $15,000. Additionally, no contact with any complainants or witnesses, no contact with the arresting officers, no possession of any weapons, any drugs without a prescription, and no driving without a valid license. In your second matter, I have you here on a violation of probation matter. You are alleged to have violated your probation by violating term 1 of that probation, which is commission of a new offense. And that would relate back to that first matter that we just went over. So by virtue of those new allegations, your violation or your probation is alleged to have also been violated based on a violation of term 1. I am appointing an attorney to represent you in this matter as well. You have a probation revocation, arraignment, and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are not eligible for release in this case. The court finds that in all likelihood, there is a very substantial likelihood, very substantial chance that you could be revoked from your probation and sentenced to prison in this matter. Based on that, under Arizona law, the court is holding you without bond in this second matter. Okay? And all of that is written down for you. Thank you. Cecilia Munoz. All right, may I please have your name and your date of birth?
Cecilia Munoz, 42583.
Mr. Munoz, I have you here on 3 separate matters. The first matter involves allegations of new offenses, specifically 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed you an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release in this matter, and your release terms include the following. This court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,000. There are other release conditions, including no possession of any weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, and no driving without a license. In your second matter, you are here on a probation violation warrant, and that is on your case involving a conviction for aggravated assault, Class 4 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 5, and 15 of your probation in that matter. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you. You have a probation revocation and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in this matter. Your release conditions include the following: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500, no possession of any weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. In your third matter, you are here on another probation violation warrant. This is on the case in which you were convicted of possession of narcotic drugs, Class 4 felony. In this case, you are alleged to have violated terms 3, 5, and 15 of your probation. The court is appointing an attorney in this matter. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release in this matter as well. Under the following terms, the court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. No weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license. You must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Thank you, sir. Matthew Hanks.
Hi, Your Honor.
Hello. May I please have your name and date of birth?
Matthew Hanks, July 15, 1987.
Thank you. Mr. Hanks, I have you here on one matter. It is a failure to appear arrest warrant on an aggravated DUI case that's a Class 4 felony. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you in this matter.
Thank you.
You have a give me one moment. All right, you have a non-witness violation hearing and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. No contact with any complainants, witnesses, or arresting officers. No drugs without a prescription. And no alcohol. And no driving without a valid driver's license.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have Rafael Serrano Alfaro?
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. May I have your name and date of birth?
Rafael Serrano Alfaro, February 8, 2003.
Thank you. So I have you here on one matter. That involves allegations of new charges, including resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony, disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, obstruction of an investigation, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and false reporting to law enforcement, also a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to all four of those allegations. The court is appointing you an attorney. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in this matter. The court is imposing the following conditions. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. Additionally, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, not to have any contact with the alleged victim or any complainants, witnesses, or officers, no possession of any weapons, nor any drugs without a valid prescription, and no driving without a valid license.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. May I please have Matthew Schneider? Hello, may I have your name and date of birth?
Matthew Schneider, 9/26/92.
Thank you. Mr. Schneider, I have you here on two matters. The first is a probation violation matter. It's for your case involving a conviction of possession of drug paraphernalia. You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release in this matter under the following terms. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. A series of other release conditions apply, including no possession of any weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a valid license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. In your second matter, you're also here on a probation violation matter, and that is on your other case involving a conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia. You are alleged in this case to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. The court is appointing an attorney in this matter. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The following terms apply. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100, and those other terms that I read through apply to this case as well. No weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Alejandro Espinoza. May I please have your name and date of birth?
Alejandro Espinosa, February 4th, 1991.
Thank you. Mr. Espinoza, I have you here on two matters. The first is a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued out of Maricopa County Superior Court. That's on a case that involved charges of possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you, and you have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in this matter, and the court is imposing the following terms. A secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, no possession of any drugs without a valid prescription, and no driving without a valid license. In your second matter, you're here on a failure to appear bench warrant out of the West Mesa Justice Court. That's for a case involving one count of excessive speed, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor. When the West Mesa Justice Court issued the warrant, they requested a $500 cash-only bond. This court is always inclined to follow the warrant request from the originating court. However, I didn't do that exactly. They requested a $500 cash bond, and I am going to make that a $500 secured appearance bond.
What's the difference?
For a secured appearance bond, you have to post 20%, and I believe that you can work with a bonds company on that. But it's again 20% down as opposed to having to pay the $500 up front.
Okay.
There's a list of bond companies in the back, all right? So in this matter, you wouldn't typically be entitled to a court-appointed attorney given the nature of the underlying charge. It's an excessive speed. So typically we don't appoint attorneys for that. But since there is a bond, I am appointing you an attorney for the bond issue only, okay? You have an arraignment hearing on November 13th at 8:30 a.m. Keep in mind that that will be at the West Mesa Justice Court. Like I said, the court is imposing a $500 secured appearance bond. And if you do post the bond in both matters, just make sure that you review the release conditions on both of your cases and abide by all of them.
So how much cash would I need to get out on both of them? Like,
so, let me just go back to the first one and see.
wasn't it 10% too, or did it go up?
So your secured appearance bond total for the two cases is $1,000. Okay, so I thought it was 20%, but I could be wrong, frankly. I believe it's 20% though of $1,000, which would be $200.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gabriel Maldonado. All right, just give me one moment. All right, may I have your name and date of birth, please?
Gabriel Ray Hinesley Maldonado, February 22nd, 07.
So, Mr. Maldonado, I have you here on one matter, right? That is an arrest warrant that issued after a direct complaint was filed against you by the county attorney's office. That direct complaint includes one allegation, and that is one count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. This court is appointing an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. All right? Those dates are very important. You have to be at those court dates. If you're not, a warrant would likely be issued for your arrest, okay? You're eligible for release in this matter. This court is going to release you on your own recognizance, which means there is no bond that's required. Your other release terms include no contact with the alleged victim, any complainants, witnesses, or arresting officers, no drugs without a valid prescription, and no driving without a license. Your next court dates that I read out to you are going to be on your paperwork, so don't lose that, all right? And make sure that you show up for those dates, okay?
Thank you.
May I have Gordon Nelson? Hello, may I have your name and date of birth, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Gordon Nelson, date of birth of October 29, 1996.
Thank you, sir. You're here on one matter. You're here on a probation violation warrant. That's in your case involving a conviction for aggravated DUI, a Class 4 felony. You're alleged to have violated terms 4, 5, and 15 of your probation. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in your matter, and the court is imposing the following terms: a $500 secured appearance bond, no contact with any arresting officers, no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dewey Christensen.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Hello, may I have your name and your date of birth?
Dewey Durwood Christensen, 10/13/1997.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Christensen, I have you here on one matter. It is a probation violation warrant on your case involving a conviction for unlawful use of means of transportation, which is a Class 6 felony. You are alleged to have violated Term 1 of that probation. The court is appointing you an attorney. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, no contact with any arresting officers, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours.
Okay. May I say something, please?
Yes.
I'm about to lose my job, and I got my CDL, and I'm about to lose my job. I just spent 30 days up in Yavapai County, and they weren't allowing me to get into my phone to show them text messages from my sister stating that she did allow me to use the car. So we're trying to file an appeal to get the whole case, dismissed, because they're saying that they didn't allow me, but I have text messages from my sister proving that she did message me, but I just wasn't able to contact you guys. All the numbers were blocked. I wasn't able to get into my phone. I put in these kites or whatever they call them to try to get into my phone, and they weren't allowing me to. And me and my girlfriend literally have like $100 in savings and we were just really hoping that I was going to be able to get out today so I can start my job back on Monday. And I wasn't able, I wasn't going to lose it because we told them I was only going to spend 30 days in jail. And that was on Wednesday the 5th. And they said that they're not going to be able to hold my position any longer until Monday.
Okay, thank you for giving me that information. Let me just review one quick thing. This court has to balance two different factors. One is how likely are you to appear at the next hearing. The other is protection of the community. Your probation court judge did request a bond in the amount of $250. I upped that bond to $500 because you were just placed on probation, 6 months ago, and you, just give me 1 minute. And, a term 1 violation, of course, is allegations of new charges. That really concerns me. It concerns the court that, you're not taking your probation seriously, and also which leads me to have concern for the community. Now, given what you just said, I'm not unsympathetic to that, and so I am willing to amend my order and affirm the probation judge's bond, which was $250. Okay, so what I'm doing is going from $500 to $250, and that is a secured appearance bond. It's not a cash bond, it's a secured appearance bond, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I mean, I know I haven't been showing I've been taking my probation very seriously, but I do have text messages from my sister saying that I was able to use that car, so I'm really hoping to. So
I'm just going to remind you of a right to remain silent. So, anything that you say could be used against you. I've amended it back to the $250.
Okay, thank you.
That you've got to make your next court date. I just have to say, if another probation violation warrant issues, it's likely going to be a much higher bond. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Gilbert, Samaniego. All right. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Gilbert Samaniego, 9/17/71.
Thank you so much. Sir, I have you here on one matter. It is a warrant that was issued when the county attorney filed a direct complaint. That includes 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony. All right. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you, and you have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30. You are eligible for release in this matter under the following terms. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, no contact with any arresting officers, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Salvatore Cantarella.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Hello, may I have your name and date of birth?
Salvatore Cantarella, July 20th, 1980.
Thank you. All right, I have you here on one matter. It is a warrant that issued when a direct complaint was filed against you, putting the following charges: 1 count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony, 2 counts of DUI, both Class 1 misdemeanors, and 1 count of extreme DUI, also a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a license. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Donovan Ruiz Espinoza.
Hello.
Hello, may I have your name and date of birth?
Donovan Edward Reese Espinosa, born September 6, 1995.
Thank you so much. You're here on one matter. It's a failure to pay warrant that issued out of the Santan Justice Court. Okay. You have an arraignment hearing on November 13th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release, and the court is imposing the following conditions. When the warrant issued from Santan Justice Court, the justice there requested a bond in the amount of $65.25. This court is affirming that. It's a cash-only bond, so it's $65.25. Ordinarily, you would not be entitled to a court-appointed attorney given the nature of this particular charge. But because this court is imposing a bond, I am appointing you an attorney for the issue of the bond only. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I was just supposed to walk into the office and set a payment plan. So I didn't do that, so that's why I got a warrant?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Chazal Beckwith. Hello, may I have your name and your date of birth?
Yeah, Travell Beckwith, 12901.
All right, Mr. Beckwith, I have you here on one matter. It's a failure to pay warrant out of the North Mesa Justice Court.
Yeah.
It's for your case involving reckless driving. You have an arraignment hearing on November 13th at 1 p.m. When the warrant issued, the justice at that justice court requested a bond in the amount of $350. This court is affirming that bond. So it is a secured appearance bond in the amount of $350. Typically, you would not be eligible for a court-appointed attorney based on the nature of these allegations, but because this court is imposing a bond, the court is appointing you an attorney to address the bond issue only. Okay. All right? So, again, $350 secured appearance bond. The only other release terms are no contact with the arresting officers, no driving without a license. Keep the court updated with your address. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Am I getting released?
So you have a $350 secured appearance bond, which means you have to work out something where you pay 20% of the secured appearance bond. So if you're able to post that bond, then you're released. Just make sure that you show up for your next court date. The date and the time are going to be written on your paperwork.
Okay, so so wait. I have to, you said 20% of the 350?
Yes.
So would that be what,
it would be $70.
$70?
Yes, I'm not exactly sure how you work the whole payment thing out or how you pay, but, you just ask someone in the back how you go about posting your bond, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Aisha Gibson. Hello, may I have your name and date of birth?
Isha Gibson, February 18, 1990.
Thank you. All right. I do here for one matter, okay? It does include an allegation of a new offense, unlawful flight from law enforcement, a Class 5 felony. The court did find probable cause exists for that allegation. The court is appointing you an attorney. You have a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. Okay. You're eligible for release, okay? Quite frankly, I went back and forth on whether or not to impose a bond because one factor I have to consider is whether you'll show up to the next hearing. This, of course, is just an allegation right now, and you're presumed innocent that the allegation is unlawful flight from law enforcement, which caused me a little bit concerned of, your willingness to appear at future dates. However, given your lack of a criminal history, I am releasing you without a bond, okay? You will be released to pretrial services, and you'll receive a packet of information on how you contact them and what you have to do, to stay in touch with them and comply with them pending your next court dates. All right?
Okay.
So you are released to pretrial services, no contact with the arresting officers, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a valid license. Okay?
One question.
Yes.
So if I can't contact the officer, they towed my truck. So who would I contact to see where my truck is?
So you can, what police agency was it?
Glendale.
Glendale. Okay. So I would just call, you can just call the main non-emergency line for Glendale Police. All right. Ask them how you would get your vehicle. If they direct you to the arresting officer, just let them know that you need to talk with someone else because of the orders out of initial appearance court. Okay?
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Benjamin Scarell.
Hello.
Hello. All right. May I have your name and date of birth?
Benjamin William Skrull, February 18th, 1994.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So you are here on one matter. That is a probation violation warrant.
I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I did break my phone, and I wasn't able to contact the officers. I actually did contact my officer from Pinal the day before I was arrested, and she, I guess, misspoke when she was talking to the police officers when they were there to arrest me, and she didn't tell them, because I talked to the officers and I was like, hey, I spoke to her yesterday. Will you please give her a call? And he said, yeah, we'll give her a call and see what's going on. If she says everything sounds good, then we'll. And she accidentally said, yeah, go ahead and take them in. But she didn't tell them that I had talked to them the day before and that I had set up to go to Pinal to see them on Thursday at 1 p.m. And then I was going up to Maricopa to deal with that the next day as well, because I live in Tucson, so I was going just by order. But
I understand.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So thank you
No problem.
for letting me know that. So just to backtrack a little bit, it is a probation violation warrant out of Pinal County. It's on your case involving a conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a Class 6 felony.
Yes, ma'am.
When Pinal County issued the warrant, they requested that you be held non-bondable. Okay, in Arizona law, if there's reason to believe that in all likelihood your probation will be revoked, and you will serve time, then you can be held non-bondable. So this is the basis that I believe Pinal County is going off of. I have no way to verify what you have said, so I am going to affirm their request for release conditions. Give me one moment. And this court is going to hold you without bond. Now, like I said, you have an attorney appointed to represent you in this matter, and your next hearing in Pinal County is in less than a week. All right, so you have an attorney. You will be able to discuss everything that you just mentioned with your attorney, and again, it's in just a few days, okay?
Okay, is there any way to request that the probation officer be like there?
That's something you'll have to talk to your attorney about.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Dawn Sauer.
Oh, hello,
Hi.
Ms. Sauer. What hearing or matter are you here on?
Probably the last one.
Okay.
Is
Mr. Druin. All right. Okay, we're almost there. One more until that. Travis Alexander, please. All right, may I have your name and date of birth?
Travis Alexander, 12/30/1990.
Thank you. You're here on one matter. It's allegations of 3 offenses: possession of burglary tools, a Class 6 felony; burglary in the 3rd degree, a Class 4 felony; and 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 2 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to all 3 of those allegations and has appointed you an attorney. You have your next hearing, which is a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is releasing you and is not requiring a bond, but the court is releasing you to pretrial services. You'll receive an envelope with information on how to contact them and how to comply with their requirements pending your court date, all right? You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with the alleged victim, no drugs without a valid prescription, and just make sure to read all of your release conditions and keep your paperwork because it has your next court date. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Deputy, could I have everyone cleared? We should be done except for the last matter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I did it the last time.
Your Honor, the courtroom is here.
Yeah.
Thank you. May I have your name and date of birth?
Can I have, I'm hard of hearing, so can I have the head, last time I had it.
One moment. sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Honor.
May I have your name and date of birth, please?
It is Matthew George John, 11/01/91.
All right, sir. I have you here on one matter. It includes allegations of 9 new offenses. Specifically, it includes allegations of 8 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. All of those are Class 2 felonies, and 1 count of visual depiction of bestiality, a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to each of those allegations and has appointed an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. We're going to address your release conditions. I'm going to ask the state first. Would you enter your appearance?
Good evening, Your Honor. Dawn Sal on behalf of the state.
Thank you. And Ms. Sauer, would you like to be heard regarding release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. And I'd like to give a little context as well. The defendant is the subject of investigations with 3 separate units with the Peoria Police Department. One of the investigations, he was seen here 2 days ago for charges of child molestation. Some of those are referenced in the page 2 on today's matter. A second investigation is relating to domestic violence charges against the girlfriend mentioned throughout the Form 4 here, but is not included in the charges yet here today because that's still under investigation. And then the third is relating to the materials that were found in the defendant's possession. The case that he was seen on 2 days ago, additional victims have been found, and for that reason, the case is being furthered for further investigation. And for that reason, the state wants to ensure that release conditions today will help protect all of the individuals involved and the community at large because that other investigation is being furthered. The state is requesting a $250,000 cash-only bond, and if posted, no contact with minors, electronic monitoring, no contact with the victim, no contact with the girlfriend that is a witness in this case. And some of those reasons are outlined in the recommendation I submitted, but the state believes that he's an extreme danger to the community. There are the allegations of child molestation that were referenced in the case he was here 2 days ago on. Those were corroborated by the girlfriend witness in this case who had never met the child victim. That makes the state believe that the statements that the defendant is saying to her are in fact true. And some of those statements that raised concern that were outlined in the page 2 involve his intent to get a house with a basement and finding a young girl to chain up and abuse sexually. He planned to buy a drone to surveil the neighborhood to locate women living alone that he could sexually assault. The state has great concerns about the extent of his sexually deviant behavior and the number of people that could be at risk. In addition, the state believes he's a danger to society, to females in particular, to children in particular. The defendant's family is cooperating, and the state is concerned for their safety, the safety of the girlfriend witness, and basically the community at large. And so for that reason, the state is seeking that high cash bond of $250,000, cash only.
Thank you, Ms. Sauer. So I do want to give you an opportunity to address the court if you would like to on release conditions. However, I do want to remind you that you have the very important right to remain silent, and anything that you say about these offenses would likely be used against you. All right? So if there's anything that you would like to tell me that's not related to these offenses, in terms of your likelihood to appear at future dates, court dates, or anything of that nature, you may do so. But again, I have to remind you that you have the absolute right to remain silent. All right. I'm going to take that, sir, that as you not wishing to add anything. All right. I'm so sorry. I need to reprint it one more time. Okay. All right. The court is imposing the following release conditions. The court is imposing a cash-only bond in the amount of $200,000. If you post this bond and are released, you would be released to pretrial services. Before you're released, you would be fitted with electronic monitoring and would be placed on house arrest. You're ordered not to return to the scenes of any alleged crimes, not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims, no contact with any complainants, witnesses, arresting officers, no contact whatsoever with any minors. No weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must continue to provide the court with proof of your local address. Yes?
Just from what you said, for the release conditions, you said about the place or whatever. I guess it's just like I'm trying to word things in a certain way, like you mentioned. So it's like I have to think a second on how to word. So bear with me for a second. When you said places of accusational or whatever, would that include the house I was living, or would that not?
Yes, that would include the house that you were living in. If you post bond and are released.
That would not be a such option.
Correct. The court would authorize a one-time civil standby with police to gather any personal belongings. All right?
Would there? Okay. If that's so, I'm just curious. That would be homeless, obviously. So, or unless there's, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Again, it's just like you mentioned. It would be hard. I don't know how to talk.
It's okay. You have your next hearing in a week. You'll have an attorney appointed, okay?
Okay.
And you can discuss these issues with your attorney.
Okay.
All right, and they can further advise you on how to go about that issue.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ms. Howard. Thank you. And with that, we are off the record. Okay, it is November 7th, 2025. We are proceeding with the 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar. Before we start, I'm going to read a victim's rights advisement. If you are the victim of a crime with a case pending before this court, you are advised that you have rights under Arizona law that among others include the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, to a speedy trial, to be present at court proceedings, to choose whether or not to be interviewed by the defendant or the defendant's attorney, to be heard before the court makes a decision on release, negotiation of a plea, scheduling and sentencing, and to receive restitution from a person who is convicted of causing you loss. If you have not already been provided with a written statement of all victims' rights, please contact the Victim Services Division of the Prosecutor's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call you in individually, and we are going to start with, just give me one moment. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, could I please have Malcolm McCann? Yes. Let me just double check. Malcolm McCann.
Malcolm McCann?
Your Honor, he's in holding cell number 9. McCain or McCann? Malcolm? Yeah, he's in holding
I'm
cell
so
number 9.
sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. You fixed that for me, and I moved it back to the tab. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay, let's have Anthony Rivera, please. Sir, can I have your name and date of birth?
My name is Anthony B. Rivera. My date of birth is 10/7/1966.
Thank you. I have you here on one matter. This matter includes allegations of new offenses. Those are 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, 1 count of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of criminal damage. The court has found probable cause as to all of the allegations except for the allegation of possession of a weapon by a prohibited possessor. The court is appointing you an attorney, and you have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th, also at 8:30 a.m. You are eligible for release in this matter. The court is imposing the following conditions. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. Additional release conditions are you are not to return to the scene of the crime, no contact with the alleged victim, any witnesses, complainants, or arresting officers, no possession of any weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no driving without a valid driver's license. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcus Hall, please. All right, may I have your name and date of birth?
Marcus C. Hart Jr., September 8th, 1988.
Thank you. Sorry, I have you here for one matter. That matter includes an allegation of a new charge, misconduct involving weapons, which is a Class 4 felony. The court has found probable cause as to that allegation and is appointing you an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m.
Is it 14th?
Yes, and this will be written down also in your paperwork, okay? A preliminary hearing will then be on November 17th at 8:30 a.m., okay? Just make sure that you keep your paperwork. It'll be on.
Yeah, man.
You are eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms. A secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. Additional terms are not to have any contact with the arresting officers, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a valid driver's license. Okay, thank you.
So 5,500?
5,000 secured appearance.
So that means I can do 10%?
I think it's 20%.
When did it go to 20%?
I don't know. Check in the back. You can work on your bond issues back there. Thank you. So I did Alexander Thorne, right? Which ones have I done so far? Rivera and Hall, and then, okay. Perfect, okay. Thank you. All right, Gabriel Hernandez. All right, sir, give me just one moment. All right, sir, please state your name and date of birth.
Gabriel Anthony Hernandez, May 20th, 2003.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez, I have you here on 4 matters. They're all warrants for alleged probation violations. I'm going to go through each one individually. Make sure you review your paperwork, okay? Because it's going to give all the specifics for each individual case. The first matter is a probation violation warrant. And that's in your criminal case CR 2023-11205-8. The court is appointing you an attorney in this matter. The court will appoint you an attorney in all 4 matters. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. You have the following release terms. In this case, you have a bond, a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. Other terms are no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. All right? Your second is a probation violation warrant in your criminal case number CR 2023-156012. The court is appointing you an attorney. You have the probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. And in this matter, your release terms include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. And there's additional terms of release that I read in the first matter apply in this as well. Your third matter is a probation violation warrant for your criminal case number CR 2023-114588. The court is appointing you an attorney. The court is setting the same probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on that November 14th date at 8:30 a.m. In this case, your terms of release include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, as well as the additional terms of release that I read in your first matter. And finally, sir, you're here on a probation violation warrant in your criminal case, number CR 2023-112962. The court is appointing you an attorney. You have the probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Your release conditions are the same. You have a secured appearance bond in this matter in the amount of $500, as well as the additional terms of release that I read in your first matter. Okay? So make sure that you do take a look at all of the pages in that paperwork. So you'll be able to see the release conditions and the bond amount and the court dates for each individual matter, even though they're basically the same. Okay? Thank you so much. Troy, mic, please. All right, may I have your name and date of birth?
For Mike, August 28th, 1994.
Thank you so much. Sir, I have you here on 3 matters. The first matter is a probation violation warrant. That warrant is for your criminal case involving a conviction of possession of dangerous drugs. That was a Class 4 felony in criminal case number CR 2024-111057. The court is appointing an attorney to represent you. You have a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release, and the court is imposing the following terms. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500. Additional terms include no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. You are also here for a second probation violation warrant. That case also involves an underlying conviction of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. You have alleged to have violated terms 4 and 5 of that probation, and that is in criminal case number CR 2024-001237. I'm appointing you an attorney. You have a probation revocation and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release with the following terms. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. Other terms include no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, and no alcohol, no driving without a license. You must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Sir.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. We just got to finish up, okay? So stay with me here. So in your third matter, you're here on allegations of new offenses, okay? And those include allegations of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, and possession of an open container of liquor in a vehicle, a Class 2 misdemeanor. The court did not find probable cause on possession of dangerous drugs, nor possession of drug paraphernalia. The court did find probable cause for the possession of an open container of liquor in a vehicle. Just because this court didn't find probable cause doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be charged with those later. In this matter, I have appointed I'm sorry. I've not appointed you an attorney. Right now, as I've only found probable cause on the Class 2 misdemeanor, you're not entitled to a court-appointed attorney given the nature of that charge. You do have a status conference in that case on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. You, in this matter, are released on your own recognizance. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sharice Newell.
Hello.
Hello. May I have your name and date of birth?
Sharice Knowles, May 22nd, 1992.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Knowles, I have you here on one matter. It is a probation violation warrant on criminal case CR 2023-158307. That case has an underlying conviction of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. You're alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation in that matter. The court is appointing you an attorney and is setting a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,250, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Data pass.
Hello.
No. May I have your name and date of birth?
Data pass, November 28th, 1998.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Pass, you are here on one matter. It is a probation violation warrant in criminal case CR 2021-007242 that involves an underlying conviction of possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony.
Yes, ma'am.
You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 7 of your probation. The court is appointing you an attorney to represent you and is setting a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following release terms: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Danielle Sorensen. May I have your name and date of birth?
Danielle Sorensen, August 26, 1994.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Sorensen, I have you here on 4 matters. They're all probation violation warrant matters, okay? I'm going to go through them quickly, but one at a time. All right. In your first matter, you're here on a probation violation warrant for criminal case number CR 2024-137094. That case involves a conviction for possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 7, and 13 of your probation. The court is appointing you an attorney and is setting a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms: a $1,000 secured appearance bond. Additional terms include no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. The second matter is a probation violation warrant in criminal case CR 2024-124903. That matter involves a conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 in that case. The court is appointing you an attorney. The court is setting a probation revocation arraignment and disposition, possible disposition, for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is setting the following release conditions. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. The additional terms that I read in your first matter, including no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, no driving without a license, apply in this case as well. So make sure you thoroughly read your paperwork for all of the release conditions. Your third matter is a probation violation warrant in criminal case number CR 2023-125836. That case involves an underlying conviction for possession of a forgery device. You're alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation in that case. The court is appointing you an attorney and is setting a probation revocation arraignment, possible disposition hearing for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release, and the court is imposing the following release terms. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond, in this case in the amount of $200. The court is imposing all of those additional release terms that I recited earlier in this case as well. And finally, you're here on a probation violation warrant in criminal case CR 2023-118038. And that is a case with an underlying conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. You're alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. 3 and 7 of your probation. The court is appointing you an attorney. The court is setting your probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition for the same date as all the others. That's November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. You have a secured appearance bond in this case in the amount of $200, along with all those additional release conditions that I previously stated. So, attorney in all 4 cases, same court date, but make sure that you read your release.
I just have one question. I apologize.
That's okay.
I had just called in to see if I was eligible for bond like a week ago. And can you just double check it was, I know you said 1,000 for 2 of them, but I believe it was 1,000, 100, and 200. It should have been a total of 1,500. I just want to make sure I clarify.
So, in the first matter, it's 1,000. Second matter, 100. Third matter, 200. Fourth matter, 200.
Okay, correct. So I was correct. 15.
15.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure that was correct.
If I misstated something, the written orders, which you will receive, reflect the court's final orders, and they are what I just read. So it is a total of 1,500, okay? Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Philip Enriquez, please. Sir, can I have your name and date of birth?
2388 and Philip Enriquez.
Okay, thank you, sir. You're here on one matter. It's a failure to appear bench warrant in your criminal case number CR 2024-124923. That case has 2 counts, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony, 1 count of criminal trespass, a class 3 misdemeanor, right? Court is appointing you an attorney. You have a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is imposing the following terms. Secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. No weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a license, okay? Thank you, sir. Rudy Regalado, please. Give me one moment. Okay, so you're here on, I'm sorry. First of all, can you give me your name and date of birth?
Rudy Regalado, 7/15/85.
Thank you. You're here on 3 matters, all right? So I'm going to take them one by one. The first one is a probation violation warrant in your criminal case number CR 2023-155247. That involves an underlying conviction of possession of dangerous drugs, a class 4 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. The court's appointing you an attorney and setting a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court's imposing the following terms. A secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. No weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours, all right? In the second matter, you're here on a probation violation warrant for your criminal case number CR 2022-145353. That case involves a conviction of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony, and you are alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of that probation. The court is appointing you an attorney and setting a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. Other terms of release apply, including no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Finally, sir, you're here on a case involving allegations of 3 new offenses. Those allegations are 2 counts of possession of dangerous drugs, both class 4 felonies, and 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony. The court did not find probable cause as to any of those offenses, okay? So I'm not going to set any release conditions in that matter. Now, I want to be very clear, you still have court dates set in this case. Just because I did not find probable cause at this point doesn't mean that you won't be charged, all right? So it's very important that you attend these court dates. There's a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. The court appointed you an attorney in this matter to represent you should those charges be filed. But aside from appointing you an attorney, setting those hearings, the court is not imposing any release conditions, okay? Thank you. Matthew Flora. Hello, can I have your name and date of birth?
Matthew Flores, 03/27/99.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. All right, you're here on 2 matters. The first is a probation violation warrant in your criminal case number CR 2021-145736. That case is the one with the underlying conviction of possession of drug paraphernalia, class 1 misdemeanor. You're alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. The court's appointing you an attorney and is setting a probation revocation and possible disposition for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release. The court is setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. There are additional release conditions, so read your paperwork. They include no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. The second matter is another probation violation warrant. This one is in your criminal case CR 2023-002068. That's your case involving the convictions for facilitation to commit either sale or transportation of dangerous drugs, class 6 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation in that matter. The court's appointing you an attorney, setting the same court dates. Probation revocation arraignment hearing and possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. You're eligible for release, and you have the following release terms: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $400, and the same additional release conditions that you have in the first matter, which include no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol, no driving without a license. Make sure you contact your probation officer, okay? All right, thank you. All right, may I have Houston Silva, please?
Houston Silva, 31289.
Give me 1 moment. So I forgot to do one little check mark initially, so I think I have to.
Which one?
On Mr. Silva, 19.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna re-sign it.
The reprint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so Okay, just give me 1 more second. So, okay, now it's okay. Okay, Mr. Silva, I have you here for 1 matter. It involves allegations of new offenses. They are possession of dangerous drugs for sale, class 2 felony, possession of narcotic drugs for sale, class 2 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, class 6 felony, the possession or use of a weapon in the commission of a drug offense, a class 4 felony, and possession of a weapon by a prohibited possessor, a class 4 felony. The court did not find probable cause on any of the allegations, okay? So what that means is that I'm not going to give you any release conditions. However, it's very important that you understand that just because this court didn't find probable cause at this very early stage in the process with the limited information that this court has, it doesn't mean that you won't be later charged with something, okay? That's very important to remember. Because of that, the court is appointing you an attorney to represent you in this matter, and the court is setting 2 hearings. Right, so a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m. So even though there's no probable cause finding now, and there's no release conditions set, you will be released with no conditions imposed, it's still very, very important to go to these court hearings, because between now and the court hearings, the county attorney could choose to file one or all of the offenses. You just don't know, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, may I please have Jermaine Turnage? All right, may I have your name and date of birth?
Jermaine Turnage, 11/9/94.
Okay,
2 days before my birthday.
all right. Sir, I have you here on one matter.
Yes, ma'am.
It's an allegation of a new offense that is hindering prosecution in the first degree, a class 5 felony. The court did find probable cause as to that allegation. The court is, based on your financial affidavit, the court cannot at this point make a finding that you're indigent, okay? Which means at this point, given on your finances, I can't appoint you a court-appointed attorney. However, you have 2 court dates coming up. One is a status conference on November 21st at 8:30 a.m., and the other is a preliminary hearing on November 25th at 8:30 a.m., okay? The dates and times for those hearings are going to be written on your paperwork, as well as the location of the courthouse. It's very important that you show up. And you can always readdress the issue of court-appointed counsel with the judge, so the judge at your status conference. Okay.
I have a question too.
Yes.
Because I do armed guard security at QT. I had them knocking on my door. I was in the shower, did not hear anything, and they just like went above and beyond. So
Okay,
I was
so
seeing if I can get that down to misdemeanor, or do I got to wait till court?
so you got to wait till court
Okay.
and talk to your attorney about it, okay?
Okay.
So, well, I say talk to your attorney about it. You can either hire an attorney at this point, or if you feel like you can't afford to hire one, then address that issue at your status conference. But you are eligible for release, okay?
Thank you.
The court is releasing you without a bond, but is releasing you to pretrial services, all right? So you're not going to have to post a bond. Okay. You will get an envelope of information on how to contact pretrial services and what you need to do to comply with their program just while you're pending your court dates, okay? Now, other release conditions include no contact with any complainants or witnesses or arresting officers.
Okay.
No drugs without a valid prescription, no driving without a license, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 other non-house calls, Alexander Thorne and Isaac Cobos. Is everyone else cleared?
Yes, Your Honor, the rest of the courtroom is cleared.
Thank you.
Yeah, besides the 2.
Okay. And do we have the counsel for the state? Yes. Okay. All right. Could I have Alexander Thorne, please?
Hello, good evening.
Hello. Could I have your name and date of birth?
Yes, Alexander Thorne, 04/23/2001.
Okay. And counsel for the state, if you could make your appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you, Ms. Stetson. Mr. Thorne, I have you here on one matter. That matter involves allegations of two offenses. One is an allegation of molestation of a child, and one is an allegation of sexual conduct with a minor. The court is appointing you an attorney and setting a status conference for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing for November 17th, also at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to address release conditions. And counsel, would you like to be heard on release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would like to make a recommendation in regards to conditions of release and bond. Your Honor, the state is asking for a bond in this case in the amount of $250,000 cash. Part of the reason for that recommendation are the allegations themselves. They're very concerning to the state, and the state believes that the suspect is a danger to the community, as well as specifically a danger to the to children in the community. The second half of the reason for the recommendation, Your Honor, is due to the suspect's criminal history. He does have a juvenile record, which includes sexual conduct with a minor under the age of 15, 2 counts of that, molestation of a child, attempted sexual conduct with a minor under the age of 15. And that is from 2019, Your Honor. That was a juvenile case. Along with that, he also had 3 probation violations on that incident. Given the fact that this is the same or similar charge, Your Honor, the state has great concerns for the community. The state has concerns that the suspect will be able to abide by any conditions, that he won't break any laws, and that the potential of another juvenile being injured. So for those reasons, the state is asking for the $250,000 cash, along with standard conditions in a sex crime case, which would include electronic monitoring, no contact with minors, no internet access, and any other conditions Your Honor sees as fit. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
Could I make
Yes, give me just 1 second.
Thank you.
Mr. Thorne, I want to be very careful to remind you that you have the constitutional right to remain silent. Absolutely any statements that you make about these allegations will likely be used against you. I gave the state an opportunity to make an argument and a recommendation on release conditions. I want to give you the same opportunity if there are issues pertaining to your release that are not related to the underlying allegation. Okay, so understanding that you have a right to remain silent, would you like to make any statement to the court about your release conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to be asked to be released on my own recognizance with an ankle monitor and a specific set area, because I do understand how it all works. And I would like to say that as for the juvenile violations from probation, the violations I had as a juvenile were as a juvenile, and absolutely none of them were for a repeat offense. I've been doing very, very, very good these past few years to not be doing anything like that. I did speak with the detective. I can't say too much about that because of where we're at, but he does, in his own words, he feels that I'm not a danger to the community because it is a very old case and it is something that was disregarded for so long. He did just recently reopen it just so that way we can get it closed again. And I do want to say that I've been making a lot of strides to do better in my life. I've had a few issues the past years I have a reckless driving ticket that's on pretrial, and the judge, he's even like, we can squash that. I was doing 20 and a 25, and then a different case, I just need the mandatory insurance report so that way I can prove to them that I did have my insurance while I was driving. That's with Surprise, the second one. Yes, I would like to ask for monitors, just so that way for at least like 2 days. So I need to make some money for my girlfriend, so that way she can get her formula for her baby and everything. Not very long, and I understand how it looks.
Okay. Just give me one
Your
moment.
Honor,
Yes, Counsel.
the state did have an opportunity to speak to the case agent, so if Your Honor wants any information with that, the state's happy to include that information. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Counsel.
Your Honor, the state does recognize that this case is from several years ago. However, this case wasn't something that just law enforcement felt like it wasn't important or it didn't deserve the attention that it needed. However, due to the custody status of several of the minors, Your Honor, it was difficult for law enforcement to track them down. Those victims or witnesses have been tracked down now, and that's why the case is where it is now. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, the state also did take the victim impact statement into consideration when making the recommendation. I forgot to mention that.
Yes, Counsel, and I should have said for the record that the court also did review the victim impact statement. All right, so the court's orders are as follows. The court is imposing a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $75,000. If you post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services. Before you are released from custody, you will be fitted with electronic monitoring and will be placed on house arrest. Additional release terms include not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with the alleged victim, any complainants, witnesses, or arresting officers, no contact whatsoever with any minors, no accessing the internet through any electronic means, no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no driving without a license. Thank you.
And I would like to say, everybody who was involved was in DCS state custody the entire time.
I understand that, sir. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just.
Okay. I just always want to remind people when they start talking about anything involving the offenses, you really have to consider your rights. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and Isaac Cobos, please. All right, please state your name and date of birth.
Isaac Cole, 01-0796.
Thank you. And counsel for the state.
Good evening, Your Honor. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you. Sir, I have you here on one matter. It includes allegations of new offenses. Those offenses are 2 counts of aggravated assault, class 6 felonies, 1 count of kidnapping, class 2 felony, and 1 count of sexual assault, class 2 felony. The court has found probable cause on all of these allegations. The court is appointing you an attorney and is setting a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m., as well as a preliminary hearing on November 17th at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to address release conditions first. I'm going to start by asking the state's attorney if they have a recommendation. Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state again is asking for a bond to be set in the amount of $250,000 cash, and partially due to the fact of the allegations, Your Honor. As Your Honor is aware from the Form 4, there's allegations that the suspect sexually assaulted the victim. The victim became unconscious due to the suspect's behavior, and ultimately was unable to protect herself because she was unconscious, Your Honor. It also is worth noting that the suspect has a fairly long criminal history. In Arizona, Your Honor, he has theft of means of transportation from 2020. He has criminal damage from 2020, and aggravated assault, victim bound restraint from 2020, robbery from 2020, and 2 counts of felony endangerment from 2020, Your Honor. He is also, from what the state could figure out, he's also on felony federal probation, and he does have an active U.S. Marshal hold on him right now. The state obviously has concerns based on his criminal history as well as the allegations. The victim in this case appears to have not known the suspect well. It seems that she knew one of the other individuals that was there, Your Honor. So for those reasons, the state is asking for a high cash bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel. Sir, I gave the state an opportunity to make argument about release conditions, and the court certainly is going to give you the same opportunity. If there is an argument that you would like to make for me to consider. I want to be very careful to advise you, though, to remind you, rather, of your constitutional rights to remain silent. Okay, so anything that you say about these allegations in this hearing would likely be used against you. So I want to give you the opportunity to make a statement to the court for me to consider. If that statement is not going to involve anything to do with these allegations. Do you understand?
In what circumstance?
If there's anything that you would like for me to know about, how likely you would be to appear at future court dates, or anything that you would like me to know about your perception of your safety in the community. So if there are things like that that you want me to consider, I'm happy to consider that. I just want to remind you that you have a right to remain silent as to these allegations. Okay? All right. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I just appeared to all my courts before. I paid my bonds before, I obviously can't afford that much of a bond, especially, and I would like an attorney present for the further, because most of the case isn't true.
Okay. So I did appoint you an attorney, and your next hearing is only about a week away. All right, so you should be meeting with your attorney that day, if not a bit sooner. That's November 14th. So the court is going to impose the following release conditions. The court is going to impose the cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $250,000. If you post that bond, you would be released to pre-trial services, and you would be fitted with electronic monitoring before you left the jail, upon which you would be placed on house arrest. Other conditions of release are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, not to have any contact with the alleged victim, nor any witnesses, complainants, or arresting officers, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a license. Okay? All of these release conditions are going to be in your paperwork, and again, you'll be meeting with your attorney within several days.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can the state be excused?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Deputy, it looks like we have 2 house calls. So for Kendra Calkins and Malcolm McCann, is the reason that they're not present in the courtroom because they're either a threat to themselves or to others, or is there a medical reason or a disruption reason?
I believe both of them, ma'am, were disruption reasons.
Okay, wonderful. Then we will do both of those in-house. I'm just going to go briefly through their matters. The first one is Kendra Calkins. She is here on 2 matters. The first matter is a failure to appear warrant on a case involving 2 counts of possession of narcotic drugs, both Class 4 felonies, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, and false reporting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court is appointing her an attorney and is setting a non-witness violation hearing and a disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no driving without a license. In Ms. Calkins' second matter, she is here on another failure to appear warrant on a case involving 1 count of promoting prison contraband, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The court has appointed an attorney and has set a status conference on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. The court is setting release conditions, including a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000, along with release conditions that are in my written order. Mr. McCann is here on 4 matters. All 4 matters are probation violations. He has a probation violation warrant for his criminal case number CR 2024-106686. In that case, he is being appointed an attorney. There is a probation revocation arraignment hearing, possible disposition hearing on November 14th at 8:30 a.m. The court is holding him non-bondable as to this matter. The court finds that there is a likelihood that Mr. McCann will be violated from probation and serve a period of incarceration in this matter. His second matter is a probation violation warrant in CR 2024-104299. That involves a conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. He's alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. The court's appointing him an attorney, setting a probation revocation possible disposition for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Release conditions for this include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750, along with other release conditions that are listed in the written orders. In the third matter, Mr. McCann has a probation violation warrant in criminal case CR 2023-134752. This is a case involving a conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia. He is alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. The court's appointing him an attorney, setting a probation revocation and possible disposition hearing for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750, along with the other release terms that are reflected in the written order. And his fourth matter is a probation violation warrant for criminal case CR 2025-000553. That is a case involving a conviction for possession of narcotic drugs. He is alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. The court's appointing an attorney, setting a probation revocation possible disposition for November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Release terms include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250, along with other release conditions that are reflected in my written orders. The court is going to, like I stated, conduct these initial appearances with these two individuals in the back of the house. If anything changes with respect to their release conditions, the written orders will certainly reflect the court's last and final orders. And with that, we'll go off the record.
All right, then she'll let you get seated again, okay? When you walk into the courtroom, make sure you remove your hats and your hands are put on just correctly to your shirt. All right.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening. This is the time set for the 11 p.m. initial appearance calendar on November 7th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that was given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you each one at a time to the podium. I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair outside of this room. I will let you know what you are here for, if I've appointed an attorney, if you have a bond, and what your release conditions are. I'm also going to read the Victims' Rights Advisement. We may have some with us today virtually. If you are the victim of a crime with a case pending before this court, you are advised that you have rights under Arizona law that, among others, include the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, to a speedy trial, to be present at court proceedings, to choose whether or not to be interviewed by the defendant or the defendant's attorney, to be heard before the court makes a decision on release, negotiation of a plea, scheduling and sentencing, and to receive restitution from a person who is convicted of causing you loss. If you have not already been provided with a written statement of all victims' rights, please contact the Victim Services Division of the Prosecutor's Office. If we could start with Stephen Waldrep to the podium and Jeffrey Rayel to the chair, please. Do you need to have Jeffrey Rayel at the end? Okay, can I call him next, or do you need me to wait?
That's fine, I'll just take him out once we're done.
Okay, thank you. May I get your name and date of birth?
Stephen David Walter Jr., September 12, 1980, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here today on a probation violation warrant that was issued for you with allegations you violated terms 3, 5, and 7. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you in this case and setting a probation revocation hearing November 14th at 8:30. Because this is an interstate compact case, you are being held non-bondable on this case. You will meet with your attorney before the hearing on November 14th. Did you have any questions? Okay, if you take a step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. And then I'm ready for Mr. Rayal, and then if I could have Tyrone Bennett to the chair. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Jeff, 10/27/1978.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we are here today on a new case. It is for 1 count of murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I am appointing an attorney to represent you. And I apologize, Ms. Stetson. Can I get your appearance for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you, Ms. Stetson. As I was saying, sir, I am finding probable cause and appointing an attorney. I'm going to give you some hearing dates. You're going to have a status conference November 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. Those are both in our downtown Superior Courthouse. Next, we're going to discuss your release conditions. Ms. Stetson, was there something you wanted to put on the record as it relates to release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, the state did file a written recommendation. However, the state would very quickly like to review that recommendation for the court. Your Honor, at this time, the state is asking for a $1 million cash bond on this matter. This occurred early this morning, late last night. Your Honor, this appears to be, based on the Form 4, a very violent altercation between the suspect and the victim, who is the suspect's girlfriend. They have been together for approximately 8 years, Your Honor. There are indications through the probable cause statement that the suspect was on a large amount of cocaine, Your Honor. He was making statements about the victim being possessed and being a demon. There are allegations, Your Honor, that multiple weapons were used, along with the suspect potentially strangling the victim, Your Honor. So based on that, along with the defendant's suspect's criminal history, Your Honor, he has several convictions for aggravated assault. It does look like, according to the Arizona Department of Corrections, he served a 5-year sentence for aggravated assault back in 2012, Your Honor. Most recently, he served a 1.5-year sentence for aggravated DUI in 2023. He was released from prison last year. But based on the totality of the circumstances and the suspect's criminal history, the state does feel like $1 million cash bond is appropriate. And the state would note that the next of kin has been notified, Your Honor, and all conditions outlined in the state's written recommendation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Stetson. Mr. Rayal, I have reviewed the allegations in this case along with the criminal history and the state's recommendation. You are going to have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1 million. In the event you post that bond, you are going to have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any next of kin for the alleged victim in this case, and you may not possess weapons or alcohol. All of this will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions? Okay. Did you want him to walk to the left, officer? All right, if you'll go with the officer. Thank you, sir. And Ms. Stetson, if that's the only case you intend to appear on, feel free to disconnect at your convenience.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If I could have Mr. Bennett to the podium and Mr. Whitsell to the chair, please. May I get your name and date of birth?
Tyrone Bennett, January 29, 1985.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here today on a grand jury warrant. It does have an offense date of October 24th, 2024, December 28th, 2024, and October 16th, 2025. Looks like it's a range of those dates. For one count of theft, a Class 2 felony, one count of conspiracy, a Class 2 felony, one count of trafficking stolen property, a Class 3 felony, one count of illegally conducting an enterprise, a Class 3 felony, and 3 counts of organized retail theft, a Class 4 felony. I am appointing an attorney and setting an arraignment hearing November 14th at 8:30 in the morning. In this case, I'm affirming the secured appearance bond of $75,000. In the event you post that bond and are released from custody, you do have written conditions of release. You may not return to the scene of any alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. All of this will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
Who told on me?
I don't have any information. This is a sealed document because it's a grand jury warrant. When you get to your next hearing, it will be unsealed and your attorney will have more information as to the underlying facts.
Okay, because everybody say it's sealed. I don't know any information. I'm like, well.
Grand jury warrants are sealed. Now that you've had your initial appearance here, your November 14th hearing, your attorney and the judge will have access to the underlying information.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Whitsell to the podium and Mr. Estrada to the chair.
Hello, Your Honor.
May I get your name and date of birth?
Elijah Witzel, 10/13/2005.
Thank you, sir. You are here today on a new case. It is for one count of aggravated assault, a Class 2 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Okay. You're going to have a status conference November 14th at 8:30, a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. In the event you post that bond, you do have written conditions of release. You may not return to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you may not possess any weapons. All of that will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
No, that's about it.
Okay, if you step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Estrada to the podium, Mr. Scribner to the chair.
Judge?
May I get your name and date of birth?
Michael Anthony Estrada, 4/13/65.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for a pending drug charge. I am going to affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and give you some new hearing dates. You will have a status conference November 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. Okay. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. In the event you post that bond and are released from custody, you will have written conditions of release. Some things include not possessing drugs without a valid prescription, not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and then you'll need to ensure you attend all of your future hearings. If you were to fail to appear again, another warrant would issue and you'd forfeit any bond you paid.
I understand.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Scribner to the podium, Mr. Cowan to the chair.
How you doing, man?
Good evening, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Travis Scribner,
And your date of birth.
11/15/1988.
Thank you. It does look like you are here on 3 cases. Your
3?
first case, yeah, we'll go over them. Your first
wow.
one is a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you,
Okay.
related to a pending drug case. At the time you were charged for that drug case, you were on probation in 2 cases. And so because of that, it is a term 1 violation of your probation. So your other 2 cases are your probation cases.
Okay.
On your failure to appear case, I'm going to affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference November 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30.
Okay.
In that case, you have a secured appearance bond of $500. On your probation cases, because it is a term 1 violation, I'll appoint, I'll appoint an attorney, and you'll have a probation revocation hearing along with that status conference on November 14th at 8:30. So between the 3 cases, you have 2 hearing dates coming up. You have a secured appearance bond of $250 in each of your probation cases. So it is a total bond of $1,000. In the event you post that bond and are released from custody, you will have written conditions of release. Some of those things include not possessing weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Is there any way you can arm me, ma'am? Because I'm really trying to get a job and get my life together and try to get my stuff together before my kids come down, in a few months that they were supposed to come down. I was trying to get before I was out there running amok. Is there like any way you can just OR me instead of having a bond?
So you cannot be, I'm not going to OR you today. It looks like you were before the court on September 15th, and we released you without a bond. Hold on, let me finish the answer. You were released without posting a bond, and then you failed to appear at the next hearing. And you're also on probation, and because of that, this is a violation of your probation. So you are going to have to post that bond in order to be released from custody. Did you have any further questions as it relates to your release conditions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Callens to the podium. Mr. Warner to the chair. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Brian Callens, 4/19/1969.
Thank you, sir. You are here today on a failure to appear bench warrant for a pending drug charge. I am going to affirm the attorney previously appointed and set a status conference November 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. You are going to have it. I am affirming the secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. In the event you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. You may not possess drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. And then you'll need to ensure that you attend all future hearings. If you were to fail to appear again, another warrant would issue, and you'd forfeit any bond you posted. Did you have any questions, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I did show up for court. I was a little late, and they said that the warrants had went out at 3 o'clock. If you release me back to pretrial services, I will attend all future hearings. I will be there on time. But I did show up for court that day.
So your hearing was, I think, at 1:30.
Yeah, and I got there like at about a little after 3. But the warrants went out at 3 o'clock.
Right.
But I was there, and the judge told me to contact my lawyer and get the warrants squashed. But before I could do that, I got arrested.
So I am just looking at your criminal history. It does look like you've had multiple failures to appear in the past listed on here.
20-something years ago.
And it sounds like you were pretty late to your hearing. You weren't a few minutes late. You were...
You know, I got there like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Right, and your hearing was at 1:30.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, this warrant issued. So I am going to affirm that bond. You do have a $500 bond you'll need to post. If you'll step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork.
Right.
Mr. Warren to the podium, Mr. Wright to the chair. May I get your name and date of birth?
I'm Brendan Warner, 5485.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here today on a direct complaint that was filed. It has an offense date of May 31st, 2025 for 1 count of narcotic drug possession, Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. And it's my understanding you were previously seen by this court a couple of days ago and you're being held on that bond. Have you posted that bond yet?
No, my mom's in the hospital and she's working on getting it.
Okay. In this case, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and you're going to have some more hearings. You're going to have a status conference November 14th at 8:30. Okay. A preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. And in this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $500. So that would be in addition to the bonds that you were previously given, although I think your previous bonds were cash. This one is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can use a bail bonding company if you choose to do so, which is typically about 10% plus collateral. Okay. In the event you post all your bonds and are released from custody, you do have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. Did you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, the drugs that I was charged with were actual prescription drugs. And I just now learned the discharge today. But I have a prescription for the drugs. They were for muscle relaxers.
Okay, and so that may be something you want to use as your defense as it relates to this. This was just filed on November 7th, which is today, so that's likely why you just found out about it. Yeah. The direct complaint was filed today. You're not being found guilty today. I'm just reading you the charges that have been filed against you. But when you meet with your attorney, if you in fact have a prescription for those drugs, give your attorney that information because they will be able to use that in the trial, okay? All right, just up to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. Mr. Wright to the podium.
Hello.
Good evening. May I get your name and date of birth?
Isaiah Michael Najee Wright, 09/23/99.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on two cases.
Okay.
The first one is a new charge. The other one is your probation case. Your new charge is for 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 3 misdemeanor, and because you're on probation and you were picked up for a new offense, it is a Term 1 violation. I'm finding probable cause and appointing an attorney on both cases. You will have a status conference and a probation revocation hearing November 14th at 8:30, a secured appearance bond, a preliminary hearing November 17th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250 in each case for a total of $500. In the event you post bond and are released from custody, you do have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Do you have any questions, sir?
No questions at all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. If you'll step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. All right, I'm going to take a quick recess. I've got a handful of warrants coming through. All right, I apologize for the delay. If we can continue, can I have Mr. Amici to the podium and Nancy Guy to the chair? Can I get your name and date of birth?
Kalechi Amici, 8/20/97.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here today on 3 cases. It does look like they are all failure to appear bench warrants that issued for you, and it looks like all the cases relate to pending drug charges. Oh, actually, hold on. It's probation revocation hearings, excuse me. The underlying charges were for drug charges, but you're on probation for those, and you missed a hearing. I'm going to affirm the attorney previously appointed, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing November 14th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $150 in each case for a total bond of $450. In the event you post that bond, you do have written conditions of release. Some of those things do include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. All of this will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
No.
All right. If you could take a seat in the gallery, we'll bring that paperwork out to you. I'm going to need to reprint all of his cases.
Commissioner just rearranged it,
Okay. Thank you. And I'm going to mute myself and call that detective back really quick. Yeah, just really quick. All right, if I could have Nancy Guy to the podium and Jesus Dine to the chair. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Nancy Guy, 12/17/96.
Thank you. It does look like you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you related to drug charges. I am going to affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference November 13th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $350. In the event you post that bond and are released from custody, you will have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and then ensure you attend all of your future hearings. If you fail to appear again, another warrant would issue and you'd forfeit any bonds you posted. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just step to your left. The officer will get you that paperwork. Jesus Dine to the podium and Dustin Kirk to the chair. Can I get your name and date of birth?
01/24/98.
And your name?
Jesus Mandain.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I am appointing an attorney to represent you and setting a probation revocation hearing November 14th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. In the event you post that bond, you do have written conditions of release. You may not possess weapons or alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. All of that will be included in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? Okay, just up to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. Dustin Kirk to the podium. Jason Reams to the chair. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Dustin Kirk, September 25th, 1990.
Thank you, sir. You are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3 and 5. I'm appointing an attorney and setting a probation revocation hearing November 14th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $250. In the event you post bond and are released from custody, you have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Did you have any questions, sir?
No.
If you step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. Can I have Jason Reams to the podium and Jacob Kelly to the chair? Can I get your name and date of birth?
Did you say this, Jason Reams?
Can you repeat your date of birth?
June 26, 1989.
Thank you, sir. You are here today on a new case. It is for 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. 1 count of tampering with physical evidence, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 3 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference November 21st at 8:30, a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You do have written conditions of release. You may not return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you may not possess any weapons. You're also going to get an envelope with your paperwork. You need to read those instructions and contact pretrial services once you've been released. Did you have any questions, sir?
No.
If you'll step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. Jacob Kelly to the podium. Charlene Toves to the chair. May I get your name and date of birth?
Jacob Kelly, 10/24/95.
Thank you, sir. You are here today on 2 cases. The first one is a new case. The other one is a warrant. Your new charges are for 1 count of narcotic drug possession and 1 count of dangerous drug possession, both Class 4 felonies. I am appointing an attorney and setting a status conference November 21st at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. Those will both be in our downtown Superior Courthouse. You're here on a second case, and that's a warrant from the White Tank Justice Court, and it relates to failing to pay some fines or complete some classes for a DUI in 2016.
Yeah, it's fine.
Due to the nature of your charges in that case, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you are going to have a hearing November 25th at 9:30. I am going to release you today to the supervision of pretrial services on your new charges. You do have written conditions of release. You may not possess drugs without a valid prescription. You may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. And you'll get an envelope with your paperwork for your new charges. You need to read those instructions and contact pretrial services. On your warrant from the White Tank Justice Court, I am releasing you on your own recognizance that you're promised to appear. And again, you have the same written conditions of release, okay?
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll take a step to your left, the officer will get you that
Thank
paperwork. Charlene Toves to the podium and Arturo Duran to the chair. May I get your name and date of birth?
Charlene Tovis, 10/17/86.
Thank you. It does look like you are here on a new case. It is for 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 5 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference November 21st at 8:30, a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. In this case, I'm releasing you to the supervision of pretrial services. You do have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You're also going to get an envelope with your paperwork. You need to read those instructions and contact pretrial services once you've been released. Did you have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, the step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. Arturo Duran to the podium and Hunter Beasley to the chair. May I get your name and date of birth?
Arturo Duran, 12/18/2000.
Thank you, sir. You are here today on a new case. It is for 1 count of reckless driving, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of exceeded the posted speed limit by more than 20 miles per hour, a Class 3 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found. However, due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing in the Arrowhead Justice Court on November 25th at 2 p.m. I am going to release you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear. But you do have written conditions of release. You may not possess drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. All of this will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll take a step to your left, the officer will get you that paperwork. I'm going to take 1 more recess and complete a warrant. All right, if I could have Hunter Beasley to the podium. May I get your name and date of birth?
Hunter Beasley, 10-10-07.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a warrant from the state of Colorado. Did you get an opportunity to review the laminated card?
Yeah.
Okay. So your charges in the state of Colorado look like they relate to a motor vehicle theft, a couple counts of that, vehicular eluding, second-degree criminal trespass, there are 2 counts of that, reckless driving, and speeding. And they have indicated that they want to extradite you back to their state as it relates to these charges. So you're going to be given a choice today. Your first choice is you can say, yes, I am ready to be extradited back to the state of Colorado. If you were to choose to do that, you would be held here in the Maricopa County jails, non-bondable, giving them 30 days to come pick you up. That 30 days would start tomorrow as long as you don't have pending charges in Arizona. If you have pending charges in Arizona, then that 30 days would not start until the conclusion of your Arizona cases. Or in the alternative, you have the right to demand that the governor of both Arizona and Colorado sign a governor's warrant ordering you to be extradited back before that takes place. In that case, I would set a hearing here in Maricopa County, November 17th at 1:30 p.m. It is civil in nature, meaning I could not appoint an attorney to represent you, but you could hire one at your own expense. And in that case, you would have a cash bond of $5,000. In the event you posted that bond, you would be released from custody as it relates to these charges, but you would need to make sure you attended the hearing here. If you failed to appear, a warrant would issue here. You'd forfeit the bond you posted, and you'd still have a warrant in Colorado. Do you know what you'd like to do here today?
Get extradited to Colorado.
Okay, so you're willing to waive your rights here today and say you're ready for Colorado to pick you up?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions because you are waiving some very important rights. So I just want to make sure that you understand those before we move forward. Okay, so did you read the waiver of extradition paperwork? That was the laminated card?
Yeah.
And do you understand that you do not have to sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And do you understand you have the right to an extradition hearing?
Yes.
And do you understand you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that you have the right to demand that a governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both states before you are returned?
Yes.
And do you understand that you have right to bail in this case, which would have been the $5,000 cash, but you are will be held non-bondable if you agree to that? Do you understand you were entitled to that?
Yes.
And do you want to give up those rights and sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to sign this paperwork?
No.
And have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication within the last 24 hours?
No.
Okay, I find that you are knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily signing this waiver, and I'm also going to sign it. I'm directing the sheriff's office to notify the requesting state that you are ready to be picked up. The 30 days will start tomorrow unless you have any local charges pending. It will begin at the end of the conclusion of any cases you have. Did you have any questions?
Are you able to see if there's any pending charges?
It looks like you have multiple open felony cases here in Maricopa County, and you've
Yeah.
already did the initial appearance in each of those cases. But let's look. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like you have 5 open cases here in Maricopa County. So that 30 days wouldn't start until the conclusion of those cases.
Until I get sentenced for them, right?
So you would have to complete that, yeah, in all 5 cases. Do you have a sentencing hearing on one of them in January 2026 already?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So your 30 days wouldn't start until after all those are completed. You still want to waive your rights today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you'll step up to where the officer is, we'll let you know when we're ready for you to sign. You can stand up there with him. Did it go through? Yes. Do you have the interpreter on the line? It's going to be like probably 5 or 10 more minutes before we're ready. And And then if you'll take a seat in the gallery, they'll bring you that paperwork. No, because I don't need them until after I put the house calls on the record and then they get back there. Okay, thank you. The 2 remaining cases will proceed as house calls. Case number 2, due to being disruptive, Francisco Javier Aguilera, date of birth January 27th, 1975, is here on a new case for 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of shoplifting, removal of goods, a class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent him. He will have a status conference November 21st at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. In this case, I am releasing him to the supervision of pretrial services. He does have written conditions of release. He may not return to the scene of the alleged crime, and he may not initiate contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. Case number 21, Mr. Angel Olvera. Do we know why he's not here today? Okay, was that the person that just left? Okay. All right, and number 21, Angel Olvera, date of birth January 27th, 1977, will proceed as a house call due to being disruptive. He is here on a new case for 1 count of narcotic drug violation, a class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent him. He will have a status conference November 21st at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing November 25th at 8:30. I am releasing him to the supervision of pretrial services. He does have written conditions of release. He may not possess weapons, and he may not possess drugs without a valid prescription. If after I meet with these parties, anything changes, I will update the written record. This does conclude our 11 p.m. calendar, and we will now stand in recess until 2 a.m. Do I have a Spanish interpreter on the line?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I do have one case. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And
Should I introduce
officer, can
myself
you,
or-
I apologize.
Oh, yes. Should I introduce myself to your client?
Yes, please.
Buenas noches, yo seré su intérprete de español. Le voy a ayudar a comunicarse con la señorita que está en la línea. Todo lo que ella le diga yo se lo diré a usted en español y su información se mantendrá confidencial.
Officer, can you hear the court and the interpreter?
Oficial, ¿usted puede escuchar a la corte y al intérprete?
Officer, if you answered the question, you are muted.
Oficial, conteste la pregunta. Está el micrófono apagado.
Thank you so much, officer.
Muchas gracias, oficial.
All right, we are here today on a new case.
Estamos aquí el día de hoy con un caso nuevo.
It is for one count of dangerous drug possession, a class 4 felony.
Es por la posesión de drogas de crimen de primer grado.
And one count of shoplifting, a class 1 misdemeanor. Did we lose that?
Goodbye.
Officer, we lost our interpreter. We are going to have to attempt to get another one on the line with us.
Okay, sounds good, Your Honor.